Okay, so oh my god, I completely didn't record the audio in the last one, but okay. Okay, so let's begin. So this is my current event presentation. It's going to be on American shootings and should be a wake up call. And why I think they should be a wake up call. My name is Maria Amador Contreras. And I was about to say something stupid, but let's continue. I thought about the Disney Channel thing. I'm sorry. Okay, so this is my current event article. This is from the Washington Post, and the title reads At least 59 killed in the Las Vegas shooting rampage, more than 500 others injured. Now, before we move on, I'm just going to give a brief summary of the article. Basically, it talks about who the shooter was. His name was Stephen Paddock, how he acquired the weapons, most importantly, the victims, how it happened, where he stayed, how many suitcases he had with him, which is astonishing that no one thought it suspicious for one person to have 10 or more suitcases with them, but okay. Um, how he planned out his week before leading up to the shooting, how he broke the glass at the Monterey Bay, how he had acquired the weapons over this series of time, and so on and so forth. So this shooting happened at the 91 Harvest Festival. It's a 3-day country music festival. It was October 2nd, 2017. This has been the biggest shooting in American history. Now, think about it. How can someone how can someone own or acquire 23 guns and not cause suspicion? These are all red flags that I feel if his record showed why he had so many guns, it should have clicked like a light bulb. Like it should just went like bing. But no one saw these red flags. No one thought to think to themselves, why does he want so many guns? How did he acquire them? And this is not even half. I think this is just more than half of what he owned because he had more in his home. And I don't understand how people did not notice that he had more than one suitcase. Cameras were watching him like, hello, people, we're missing how this all happened and how all of this could have been prevented. We are normalizing gun violence and shootings are becoming the norm. People are becoming desensitized to these things. He was 64 years old and he was from Mesquite. Um, now he had acquired all these guns legally over the years. He had more than 2,000 firearms. This is crazy. And from my understanding, um, the weapons weapons. He aside from having more 23 weapons, he had 19 more firearms in his home. He had thousands of rounds of ammunition, chemical tenor, tried and explosives. Like, come on, how did he obtain these things? How did he obtain explosives? Lastly, they found ammonium nitrate Paddock's car to make bombs. Like, how did these purchases not alert people? It's quite obvious that he was planning to kill more, even. And a recurring theme that I'm going to be showing in this presentation is that after they do such horrific things, they turn the gun on themselves. Now, these are the authors of the article. Lynn Bowie, Matt, I can't pronounce his last name, so I'm not even going to try to butcher it. Devlin Brent and Mark Berman. So these are on the bottom of this slide, you can see the faces of the article of whom wrote it. And in the Washington Post, Lynn Bowie joined in 2012 the Washington Post. She has a BA of journalism and mass communications from the Arizona State. University. Devlin has a uh, he focuses on reporting national security law enforcement, and he has a BA from the McGill University. It does not say when he joined, but I'll leave this up just a quick second, or if you want to pause the video and see my sources, I think it's very important, like Ms. Lang said, to cite your sources, but to also give credit to the authors of the article. So here's the last um author. You can read a bit more about him. He has been part of the Washington Post since 2007. Now, why I decided to include more information on shootings and more current shootings is from the Thousand Oaks bar shooting. There was 13 dead. Uh, 13 victims who I feel horrible that they have passed away. I think it's so mind-boggling that people aren't more aware of the situation, how uh, other things have been more there's been more activism for other things that shouldn't be as important as gun violence and gun control. We should be actively trying to stop people from obtaining weapons. Now, this one basically is going to talk about how, quick summary is how the shooter threw smoke bombs into the bar and began to aimlessly fire into the smoke. People who were conga line dancing and stuff like that. So, as you can see, he injured 20 injured and 13 passed away. Um, he basically aimlessly just went for it, fired without mercy, which is, again, like, where are they getting these guns? How are they obtaining it? I feel like there should be a psychological test along with obtaining a weapon. Like, how how is someone be so screwed up in the head to think it's okay? Oh, I'm just gonna go do that. Like, no. And second of all, think of it, how meticulously these people plan it. The shooting happened on November 8th. I mean, the article was written on November 8th, 2018. I am flabbergasted of how meticulously he did this. Like, he threw smoke bombs. People were obviously gonna react, and then people in the scavenge are running to safety. He aimlessly shoots, which it took so many lives that should not have been gone. And further into this presentation, I'm gonna link. Uh, I'm gonna have two sources in which one of the girls who passed away that day um, was niece of Tamara Mori Housley, and how she has been doing activism. I'll play a little bit of the video towards the end, so we'll get to that. And then the article, it clearly says that David was, after committing such horrible crime and monstrosity to humankind, he turned the gun to himself, which is the easy way out instead of facing the consequences of what he did and the lives he took. This is the author. His name is Daniel Hampton. He was a former writer or writer, wire editor or editor for the Patch national team. Now, how I'm going to correlate this to the past is, I feel like all shootings have arised from the Aurora, Colorado movie theater shooting, which I believe has been 5, 6 years since it happened. I'm not sure. I'm not good at maths. Oh, it's been more. It's been longer. It's been more. That how that shooting, I feel like, that's been my most knowledge, or more uh my more awareness, like having more awareness of shootings I didn't do much. I didn't do much digging past the Aurora, Colorado shooting because I didn't have memories of others. But I can surely aware that I feel like there's been more and more shootings that happen after this, and obviously I sound redundant, but again, why is someone taking out their anger on people, innocent people? Like it's very frustrating how people go into the cycle. Like they mourn, it's dehumanizing us as people, and this just basically talks about how he was angry that he had lost his job, or like he just planned it. Everything was just planned, and how he went in there and he also warned the police officers that he had booby trapped his apartment the next day when they went to arrest him. So they had to call in a SWAT team, the FBI, people who are dedicated to stopping bombs, which could have completely blown up his apartment complex. This happened July 20th, 2012. There was 12 deaths and 70 injured. His name is James Holmes, and I believe he was sentenced to life in prison without parole. Um, Now this all these the past and the future and the present all tie into this because we are falling into a vicious cycle where we just see it happen, we mourn it, and then we forget about it, and then it happens again, and we're back again in that circle and circle and that circle. The numbers of people who have died innocently without even doing anything to the person are just there, and we as a society could take matters into make things happen, make this amendment be rewritten, reconsidered. Like I know it's part of our rights, but what is a right when people are losing their lives? Now, Julie Jacob is the author of this article. Okay, now this is where I come to talk about the Second Amendment and how it's a wake up call for us to reconsider the or rewrite or put more clauses or more thought into how a person acquires a weapon. People are having access to chemicals that are deadly. Why are you using them for? Why do you need them? Like people should have questions, a questionnaire that states why. Why do you need this? What do you need that? Like it should make sense. It should just not be us. Okay, you can buy this. Like guns are accessible anywhere we go. We have guns being sold the most common of places. And I'll get to the end to the next slide. Now, this is just a wake up call for us to change it, to make a change. We are a society who stand up for so many things. Why can't we do the same for gun violence? We are becoming desensitized, inhumane to seeing all these people. We think of it as normal now, and it's unhumane. We don't realize it how unhumane it is until it happens to a loved one, and we shouldn't be like that. We should always think of other fellow humans. We should care for what happens. We should not ignore. We should regulate. I know I sound very redundant, but I am very passionate into keeping our schools safe. We should not be scared to go to work, go to go to school. Senior citizens shouldn't be scared to enjoy the rest of their life. Hospitals should be the safest place. Um, we shouldn't be scared of going to the movie theater. We shouldn't be scared to go anywhere without having the fear or the risk of being shot at because someone had access to a gun. Guns should not be sold at pawn shops, Walmart, or any store where a kid can roam free. And I say kid because kids are very visual creatures, and we are teaching them at a young age that it's okay for guns to be used, and we should not be allowed to. We should not have to live with that fear or have our kids be okay or normalize the situation. Now, this is where I'm coming to after uh, Tamara Moore Housley was the auntie of one of the victims who lost their lives in the Thousand Oaks shooting. If you want, you can pause it and like write the link to check out that foundation. And then I want to play this a part of this video so you understand how gun violence is changing our society.
After losing her niece in a mass shooting, Tamara Mowry
No.
Housley made an emotional return to her chair on the daytime talk show The Real.
She would want me to move forward and to use her voice as a catalyst for change. And that's why I'm here today.
With tears streaming down her face, Tamara honored Elena Housley, who was one of 12 people killed by a gunman at the Borderline Bar and Grill in Thousand Oaks, California. 18-year-old Elena, a freshman at Pepperdine University, had gone to the country music bar with friends to line dance that night. Her aunt says the family is still in mourning.
Our family's been through a lot.
So, like I was mentioning, like we as a society can be the change, and people shouldn't lose loved ones because someone had access to a weapon. We can be the change. We can be our future. We can change what is wrong, and we can do the activism that is required. Thank you for your time. I really appreciate it. Thank you for looking at it, and goodbye, guys.